welcome to tonight's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Again, we have Laitram Tsol back again. He's going to be telling us about his horror movie convention coming up in September in I drawn a blank. In Virginia. Please tell us about what's coming up, sir.
Well, we're very excited. We have a great group of people that are excited about coming, all kinds of different vendors. We have all the different movie stars that are going to be there. And, it's going to be a great time for everybody. I talked to a great group of people that are very excited about coming out there and scaring lots of people. So it looks like our haunted house is going to be going on very good, very strong. Yes.
Yeah, that's I'm not gonna lie. That is one of the coolest ideas. The haunted house that you have to get through to get to the convention is great. I love that idea. That just seems like, although knowing me, I'd be the one just, okay, I'm back, not gonna run back around and go back in line. I love the haunted houses.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun concept. We have, a haunted house for the adults and, maze for the kids to go through. So that way, the kids don't get scared, but they can go through and have some fun. And then we have one for the adults to have a little bit more fun. I'm not going to give away too many secrets that go inside there, but, it's a pretty good area,
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
I've been watching your lineup since we had the first interview, and your lineup has just been growing and getting bigger. And the one that gets me is that you got the devil himself from Reaper. You got Ray Wise. That's great. I mean, that's a definitely a big one right there. So. And you got a pumpkin head, you got pinheads, you got Leatherface. Tell us some of the other people we've got coming.
Well, I have Brad Lloyd, and he played Michael Myers. He's going to be out there. We have Bonnie Morgan. She was the girl that crawled out of the well and came through the TV just to see you guys. So the ring lady herself, which is Samara, her real name is Bonnie. She's going to be there. Awesome woman. We have her father, who actually was the stunt double for Cujo, and that is Gary Morgan. He's be there. I'm so excited about him because he was in, Logan's Run. He was in Back to the Future. He's been in a lot of really cool movies. We also have Miguel Nunez, and he was in Scooby-Doo. He was in Friday the 13th, the New Beginning, and he was in Return of the Living Dead back in the day. And apparently, this one was new to me because, I am such a horror character, and I love horror movies and scary movies. But he was also in a comedy called Juwanjo Man.
Yep.
So that's really cool. We also have, of course, we have Pinhead, which was Paul Taylor. So I'm excited to have him. We have the gentleman created the Cenobites for Cinematic, and he also was the director, and he starred in Halloween Judgment as the auditor. So Gary's going to be coming out there, so I'm really excited about him. He's been a special effects artist for over 100 movies. Who else do we have? Of course, we have Andrew, which is Leatherface, and we have Debbie coming, and she was in April Fool's Day, Real Genius, a couple of the movies that Waxware. So yeah, I mean the lineup is great. 12 amazing people, and I have vehicles this year. So the first year we did the Ecto one, which is really cool, and Ecto one is coming back again for the third time. This year we're excited because we're going to have the Mad Max vehicles, and I'm super excited about this one. I almost died trying to get this one to agree to come. He almost took my head off. But I have the Jeepers Creepers truck coming from the actual movie.
That's pretty cool. The Mad Max stuff, I love. I am a huge Mad Max fan. I got lucky the other day. Just happened to go to a garage sale, just out of the blue. Nothing was at this garage sale except for on this one shelf was the 1/18 die cast Interceptor on the shelf, and I was like, "Is that for sale?" And he's like, "Yes." I was like, "Then I need that." But that's
Yes.
yes. You got the Interceptor. You have Lord Humongous's vehicle. If I seen the pictures correct.
I'm not sure which ones they are. I want to go and take a good look at them later on this before the season, and hopefully I could drive them, do a little commercial interview with the owners. So we'll get more detail on that soon. But
Cool.
yeah, I'm super excited about that. And the other one that I'm really excited about is we have the gentleman that played the Leprechaun, and he's the body double for Chucky coming as well. That's Lyndon Folco. So
Yeah. Um, the one that threw me is I grew up, became an adult, and then I saw the pictures of the stunt double for Cujo in the costume, and I was like, that doesn't seem right.
I know. Well, you guys think about it. Back then, and even today, with we can't touch the animals. So,
No, no, no.
all the scenes where they're putting them or rolling around, you can't really hurt the animals. So they used a stunt double,
Yeah,
and they did a really good job with the angles and the way that they made it look like the real dog, but in fact, it was a man in a suit.
yeah. That was impressive because that movie came out in like what 1983 or something like that. And that was really good for the time. I was shocked at how good that was. It's like I said, I always thought it was an actual well-trained dog.
Yeah,
It ends
yeah.
up being a stuntman. Um, what are your dates for your con down there?
Well, it's here in Virginia. We're gonna have it in Hampton, Virginia, and it's September 17th and 18th this year. So it's a 2-day event. We're going to have of course, the haunted house for people. We're gonna have the celebrities. We're gonna have the costume contest. We're gonna have the knife fighting competition. We're going to have the makeup competition where people actually have to make people like you into people like me in front of everybody's eyes. They get 3.5 hours to create something. It's kind of like our version of Face Off called Monster On. And, get to see the vehicles and, of course, the VIP party. So we're really excited about it.
Now, what does the VIP party imply? What comes with that?
Oh, well, basically what it is, you get a goodie bag, you get an hour free admission before everybody else. So it's like everybody goes in there at 11 o'clock. The VIP holders can get in there at 10 o'clock. And also, they have a party, and the VIP party is the after party where, we have a DJ, some food, mix and mingle, and some of the celebrities are going to come and party with them. So it's pretty fun.
Cool, cool. Um, well, what are your ticket prices right now currently?
And I forgot one thing. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Well, if you get it right now, they range from $15 to $25 online.
Okay. Um, what'd you forget about? You said you forgot something.
I forgot that the behind the celebrity
Nope.
them are thrown into a bucket, and we get to choose their names one at a time, and they get to win one of the banners, and it's autographed and signed by the celebrity. So they take home a little bit of memorabilia.
Awesome. That is cool. Getting the big banner from the thing. Um, You posted the other day. You had the artwork that you had gotten done. Who did your artwork for those? For all the.
Oh, that's my friend Stephanie. Yeah, she's a really good. If you go onto the Haunted Screams Expo and look at the artwork, we tagged her on it. Stephanie's really good. She's an amazing artist and a lot of commission work, and that's actually how we became friends. And I bought in a couple of pieces from her already, and I look forward to buying a lot more.
Cool. It is a really nice piece of artwork. The pieces of artwork, more than one. I was impressed. I thought they looked really nice. Um, for the vendors out there, how are your vendor tables? Are you still have any available?
We have a few left,
Okay.
and the vendors are very excited about it. I'm excited about the vendors that we got. We got a lot of really cool vendors this year. We got people that have lots of masks. We have a person that actually has a Halloween shop on their own, which is Hair Girls Halloween House. They'll be there. We have Just a Little Hocus Pocus. They're going to be there. We have Scars, Stones, and Stars. I think that's what it was. But they're going to be there. They're amazing. They have all kinds of little trinkets and stuff, and stones, and crystals. We have some T-shirt people that are going to be there this year. Figurine people. We have some people that do 3D printing. I'm talking to a couple people, and hopefully everything's going to work out with that. But we're going to have somebody that actually makes tombstones there. We're going to have the some guy that makes death trees, which like these trees that are made out of foam that look like skeletons. That like the fingers are the branches, and the body turns into like a tree with like the ribs and everything. It's pretty cool looking, actually.
Awesome.
So we got lots of different things that I'm really excited about, and I might end up leaving with a lot more stuff than I'm coming home with. When I go and set up, I'm gonna probably end up coming home with a lot more. And of course, we have a booth set aside for you if you do come by, because we talked about that,
Yeah, yeah.
and it'd be great, And then we have Scares That Cares. They're going to be there, setting up their booth. We have the uh, the Halloween daily news that's going to be there, so we're excited about them. Of course, the Ghostbusters, they're going to show up. So yeah, lots of cool vendors.
Do you have any of the like DVD, or at this point not DVDs, but the Blu-ray production houses? Any of those coming? Like,
We actually have a few guys, the independent film companies that are going to be there. Right now, we have three that are locked in that are going to be there, and they're going to be selling their products. And we're actually going to make a movie viewing room so you could actually watch some of the indie films. And I'm talking about the Hellraiser guys as well, and seeing if we can show Judgment. Hellraiser Judgment there at Haunted Screams Expo, since I'm going to have, a little reunion where they haven't seen each other together since that movie. So it's going to be really fun putting all of them together.
it'd be nice to have a nice Q&A afterwards where you watch the movie, then you get to talk to them. That'd be awesome setup.
Yeah, yeah. Q&A. It's always fun with Q&A.
Q&As are fun. Uh, I was going to ask you about viewing rooms, but you answered that question.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Sorry.
um, Now, do you have any openings for people, say, that can't make it, who would like to get their movies to you to be viewed?
That's if basically what I'm going to do is, if you can't pretty soon, I always wait till later on, like probably August, and I'm going to really start out on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube and all that. The different vendors that we have, and really push their links so that if you can't come to the screens, at least you can go and support them and buy some stuff from them, like the independent films that are being created, so you know where to buy their movie, or some of the people that have Etsy shops, or even people that just sell it on Facebook or marketplaces. It'd be good to support local people and help out the little people as well.
cool. And it does help a lot. Even if you, I mean, you help them get anybody's name out there, even if one person sees it and falls in love with it, you know, it always helps them. So,
Yes.
um, with your guest list, like I said, it's a pretty good sized guest list. Did you get anybody that you just did not think you were going to get, that you were able to, like, man, I got them hooked. Holy, I got them. That's awesome. You know, somebody that you didn't think you were going to be able to bring in.
Well, I've been actually trying to get Lyndon for 2 years now. So I'm really surprised that I ended up getting him. I just thought, I'm going to try to book him. He's not going to be available again. And lo and behold, he was. And the other one that really shocked me was, Ray Wise, because Ray's always a very busy man. And, he's got such a good following, and he's a really nice guy when it comes to things. And it's like, wow, I got the devil. I can't believe that. And everybody's like, well, he was on Twin Peaks. And I said, of course, but I got the devil, and that's what I was excited about.
Oh yes. Now how'd that go? Did you just call him up because you'd previously worked for him, or
Well, I left a message, and of course, the devil doesn't like me talking to him because he says I talk way too much. So I had to, talk to his secretary, and while I was waiting in the waiting room, me and Beetlejuice had a long conversation. It took about a year, but after we got done with that, we were like, "Hey, man, high five! Okay, guess what?" He said yes. So I'm really excited about that.
that that is one that I'm been rearranging my schedule, trying to figure out what's going on up here, because I'm trying to get down there. That's my goal for September. Um, we my wife just started a new job literally today. Today's her first day at her new job. So that's a weekend. So we're gonna work on that. Um, so she might not be able to go, but we're gonna see. We're working on it currently. So, but it is my goal.
Well, I hope you do. I
So
hope you make it.
yes, I want to show up. I don't know if I would show up as a store because that's a lot of stuff to drag behind me.
Well,
um,
just like bring a little banner, and I'll have a table and chairs for you, and you'll be sitting in a little booth, and you can sit there and promote your podcast
yeah,
and tell people who you are.
that's right. Um, Now with doing this convention year after year, um, is there, have you found it getting easier, or have you found it getting more difficult just because you're growing?
I think that as we grow, it becomes more fun and more challenging, but at the same time, it keeps me very excited, you know, and I uh, I already actually have some of the celebrity guests lined up for next year. So it's definitely getting the word out, and we're very excited about that. And I just wish that I could get to the steps that I want in the future in my head now, but I have to be patient, and I know that.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm currently doing, literally as we speak. My convention is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from yesterday, actually. Um,
Wow.
we were supposed to not run it till November. It got pushed up because of the venue wanted it now, which is a mall. But they wanted to start running something, so I was like, okay, I can do what I can. I was like, it's not going to be as good as what I can do in November, but we're still going to make it as good as we can. So we're busting our butts now, and it's our first one back since the pandemic, um, which literally, I've told this to other people. Um, we got our venue confirmation on a Friday because the mall was going to let us run it. We got our room, everything, because we're going to use an old storefront. Um, so I was going to announce everything on Monday, and then they closed down Ohio on Sunday. So I,
Wow.
Yeah. So all that hit in a 3-day space. So literally I kind of got a little disheartened, and now I'm getting it back, and now I'm feeling it again, and it's fun. Hopefully we've got a tentative guest for our November show, and it is somebody who's been in Scream and in Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's not one of the main actors. So I can't really say too much outside of that. But it's tentative. So we're hoping that all comes to fruition, and so that's kind of my semi announcement for my show for November.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm Friday the 13th guy, and I'm Scream, but I'm gonna people are gonna hate me for this. I really like Scream 1, and then the other ones I just think are okay. And three I don't much care for, but the other ones I think are okay.
I mean,
One is great.
it's I think the reason why is because when you create something like Scream, it was original.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like here's two crazy guys that watched way too many horror movies and they stuck to the rules, but they kill, and it was that twist at the end. And once you did that, it's hard to top that because then people are expecting it.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. I understand that.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of all the movies, but yeah, it's hard to make franchise go better than the first one.
Oh yeah. And there's very few movies. I mean, outside of Friday 13th Part 3 was I think outdid 1 and 2. But then again, it was 3D back in the day. It introduced the mask and stuff. And then of course Nightmare on Elm Street. As much as Nightmare on Elm Street is awesome, I still like 3, but I still don't think I like Nightmare on Elm Street 1 more, or 3 more than 1. But it's close, really close.
All right.
Yep. Okay. Is there somebody that you really want to get for your con that you're working for, maybe for down the road? You got like a dream guest that you really got to have?
I think right now, because I've had the privilege and the honor of getting really cool people to come out, especially characters. But on the top of the list, I would have to say is if we can grow big enough, there's two people that I really want to get, and I know that the convention has to be a lot older and it has to be a lot bigger in order to get these people. But I would love to get Elvira, and I would love to get Robert England, Freddy Krueger himself. So I think those are the two top ones that I'm shooting for, and let's just see how long it takes before I can get them.
Well, as fast as you're growing, it's probably a year, probably next year, maybe the year after, but it's going to happen soon. So
I hope so.
yeah, because I went back and was looking at some of the pictures from your previous years, and I'm like, man, seeing those first couple years that you took pictures of, and then the last one and stuff, I'm like, man, I was like, I don't know how you've done it. It's amazing. You've done a fantastic job of growing. So I got to give thumbs up to you, sir. See, it's that whole fact is that you got the devil on your side, as you've seen that he will be here at the next show.
Well, and I do, I owe it to the fans, and I listen to them, and I talk to a lot of people, and they give me their insights, and I really enjoy pleasing the fans. So if they can make suggestions on how to improve things, I take it to the heart, and I try to make it that bigger and better each time. Honestly, I didn't even think about doing a knife fighting competition, but somebody brought it up and they thought it'd be really cool to see some of the horror icons going at it with knives. And I was like, well, how could we do that safely? So I talked to David about it,
Okay.
and David, he's a knife instructor, and I was like, how can we do that safely? And he showed us these really cool little knives that light up and make noise, and it's like playing tag with each other. So I said, why not? And people had a really good time doing that. And now I got people calling up, and they're like, "Are you doing it again? Because this time I want to do it." So that's something new and interesting. Um, there are things in the future that I would like to do, but I'm not going to disclose that until we can actually lock it in and make it blow up.
Yeah.
But I really want the convention to have something going on all the time. We'll have the daytime, and then we'll have the nighttime stuff, and just a lot of energy and a lot of good vibes going on everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody can have a good time.
Yeah. Um, here I have two questions I forgot to ask you last time I had a conversation with you. All right.
Sure.
Number one question. All right. I grew up in the 80s and I'm a D&D guy. Grew up on Dungeons and Dragons, been since I was a kid. And Devil has nothing to do with D&D, right?
No, 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 no. I enjoy D&D. It's a
Yes.
very fun game, and sometimes I don't know if you actually watched uh, The Big Bang Theory. And me and my friends, we got together and we decided, for one day we are going to do whatever the dice say to do. So we were like really bored in the morning, and we're like, all right, are we going to go out to eat? Are we going to stay home? Let's dice roll. So 20-sided dice and see what it comes up. And then we're like, okay, we're going out. Now let's see what we're going to do. And then we wrote up a list, and then we roll our 6-sided, and we're like, okay, this is where we're going to eat. Let's go. And we did that all day. It was so much fun. So we played, Dungeons and Dragons role play in reality world, and it was very interesting, the outcome.
Okay. That's funny. That would be fun. Um, the other question was a friend of mine back when I was in elementary school, his mom thought that the true devil's music was Christian rock because it was the devil sneaking in pretending to be Christian rock, and that's how the most satanic rock and roll was Christian rock. Is that true?
That's an interesting theory. Um, I have to do some research on that one and get back to you. It's kind of like when they say, you could play music backwards and get the lyrics and secret messages. Unfortunately, I never heard one, but I'm trying to. I got myself a record player just last year, and I got a bunch of albums I've been like playing backwards just to see if I could hear my voice.
Just to see, I did a lot of recording at one point, and it's still not on anybody's album.
I know it, right? And it's sad. But
Yeah.
maybe it's one of my friends that's another demon that might have theirs on there. I'll be like, oh, look, it's Frankie. No, oh well.
The only thing I've ever learned is if you play an album backwards, it messes up your needle. So that's the only thing
Oh,
I've ever learned.
maybe I'll do that then.
Yeah. So, um, let's see. You got you have a great bunch of people coming to your show. You've got some really cool things going on. You got the vehicles. You've got, from the Ecto One to the Jeepers Creepers truck to Mad Max vehicles. You have the haunted house, plus you have a maze for kids. You have a VIP party. Let's see what else. You have the devil. Um, the one I like is that you did get a older actor, stuntman, because you said he was in Logan's Run. He was the dog from Cujo, the stunt dog from Cujo. I like that. I like that when especially convention promoters and stuff look past what, a certain era of horror movies, because a lot of horror conventions you get 80 to 2000 if you're, and occasionally you'll get the guys in the early, the seven. But you got from Logan's Run, which was the 70s, you got Cujo, which is the 80s, and that's early 80s, and I like that. I like that you have a wider, because you got them, and then you've got the guys who are doing the new Hellraiser stuff now, which in the last couple of years, and that is a big window of talent and people that you can pull from. So I appreciate that a lot.
And we're excited about having the American Werewolf in London too.
Oh yeah.
He's very classic, and to this day, the transformation that they did in the film is one of the iconic roles when it came to seeing a man go from a human form to a werewolf. I mean, it was epic.
Oh, it's amazing. And this is going to sound goofy, but it is something I literally will sit down and just watch that transformation, because you watch it and it's so much of it is on camera in the moment. None of, of course, none of the CGI, because that didn't exist yet. But knowing that there is a guy there laying on the floor or in the floor, and it looks painful. It looks like he is legitimately going through pain, and it's all prosthetics. It's all animatronics. It's wires and cables and foam latex, and it still looks beautiful to this day. And it is a thing of beauty, and it's that and the transformations in the Thing are two that I can go back and rewatch constantly. So, and
Yes. And that's why it's like it's a great honor to have Gary come and Mike come, because they're very old school when it comes to creating things and making monsters come to life. So it's all special effects stuff to them, and they don't really work with the CGI, and I personally like that.
Yeah. Well, people get me on this one. Is I think that there is a nice median in current films, that the old school original latex animatronics and a little bit of CGI to make it just tweak out the lines or the wires and stuff like that, just to clean it up, not to go overboard on it, but just to clean it up. So it's funny, because I watch a lot of movies, and I joke around that sometimes I have to go back a generation on the media that I'm watching it on, because the current laser disc, Blu-ray and 4K, the picture's too crisp and clean, and I don't like that, because then you can see the wires, you can see the imperfections easy. But if you go back to DVD, sometimes it's just fuzzy enough and just imperfect enough that it looks really good. As that's, I don't know. That's the way I look at it, I guess. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.
I mean, I agree. It's always good to have the illusion and things come to life. But if it's too sharp and you start seeing the things that are supposed to be hidden, it kind of ruins it.
Yeah. I was buying the Godzilla movies on Blu-ray, and I stopped, because I love Godzilla. And when you can see the beautiful crystal clear picture with the wires coming down and holding up the tail and stuff like that, I'm like, oh man, I know it's there. I'm not for, but I'm still for, because I want my Godzilla to look like a monster on the screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry. Godzilla is real. Yeah. It's just he's too big to put on camera, and they use a stunt double, with the wires. But
Oh man. You're talking about this. I got to bring this up. So if anybody remembers this, years ago, I want to say it was the South Park guys. We're going to do a movie where all the kaiju movies that Japan was releasing here in America were misunderstood because kaiju actually attacked Japan all the time. And they sent them over here to America to warn people not to come to Japan because the monsters attack all the time. And I don't know whatever happened to it because I thought that would be great. That the monster movies were real, that it was just Americans just thought they were fake monster movies. So they go to Japan to go see where they made these movies, and then they'd be attacked by giant monsters. So, but
That'd be interesting to watch. I've watched that one.
yeah. Okay, I gotta ask you this. You're talking about your knife fights and stuff like that. Will we be seeing you perform in a knife fight?
Oh no, no, no,
Or
no. I have to like make sure nobody gets hurt. I tried like slashing around and then somebody stabbed me and I was like, oh, that wasn't very fun.
will your sidekick Dave be performing?
I don't know. We'll have to ask him that one day.
Yeah. Oh, is he around? We can talk to him sometime here in a little bit, right?
Yes, yeah, he's probably in the other room, typing and doing Dave stuff, whatever
Doing
that
the
is.
work. What else have you got going on besides the convention right now?
Oh well, I'm just gonna go visit some people, and it's really cool because 'tis the season of cons, and I can go around and meet everybody and start talking. I'm going to be doing a toy review real soon. Because I got the Trick or Treat Chucky in, so I'm going to do a toy review with that. And just do some other videos and talk about the things that are coming out uh, with Spirit of Halloween and the stuff coming out in Home Depot and Lowe's just started up with their line of stuff. So I'm really excited about that.
I can't wait for that because my werewolf is lonely, so I need something to go with my big animatronic werewolf I got last year. So I need something to go with him this year. So
Well, I mean, they have Home Depot actually has that 10-foot werewolf that is supposed to be electronic and moves around and stuff. And I was like, wow, it's 10 foot. I mean, everybody's like, oh, I thought it was going to be 12. It's okay. 10 foot is huge anyway.
see, I would love to have that, but I have a tree in front of my house, so I don't know what I would do to be too big
Take a
for there.
peek around the tree. You know,
Well, it was funny because we put my werewolf out on the porch last year on Halloween, and unfortunately with weather and everything else like that, they postponed it to us actually on a Saturday afternoon. So I didn't get to enjoy my werewolf out in the dark and messing with the little kids, but everybody who came by had to get their picture taken with the werewolf. So my picture, my werewolf got all these pictures while I'm out taking my youngest son trick or treating. And then I found out that I was getting pictures taken of me while I was taking my kid trick or treating because I was an adult in a full costume because that's what I do. So I think that's
oh, but that's great. That's great. Do that.
yeah.
And I think, and that's the one thing that I love about Halloween. It gives us the excuse to become children again and dress up and run around and have fun. Well, people aren't going to look at you very weird. It's like I tell everybody, when I go out during Halloween, people just look at me like I'm one of them, which is great. But if I
Oh yeah.
go out to, the beach, say during July, I get different looks.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's I love and I've done this since my older boys who are now adults. I took them trick or treating. I'd always like wear a helmet or a mask or something and take them out. And now that my youngest, I take him out and I've always dressed up except for one year. He decided he did not want me to dress up and go with him. So I was like, all right, I won't dress up. I won't do it. And then we get out, we get in the car, we go step foot out of the vehicle to go start trick or treating. He decides that he wants me in the costume. And I'm like, Bud, Daddy left the costume at home. I can't drive all because we actually left town. We went to the town south of us. But so now I get in the costume. I did 3 years ago, I did Godzilla. So I had one of the big inflatable Godzilla costumes. The year before, I was a stormtrooper. I have a full set of stormtrooper armor. Last year, I was a Sith Lord from Star Wars. This year, I'm going to go as. Did you see Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm going to go as Peter B. Parker. I'm going to go as the old man Spider-Man with like the bathrobe and the sweatpants. So I have a full
Oh,
Spider-Man
that'd be cool.
costume. So I'm going to go as that Peter Parker for Halloween and take him trick or treating. So because I'm not young anymore, and I can't, as much as I work out, I still got kind of a gut, even though it's but the Spider-Man costume does not hide that in any way, shape, or form.
Well, in certain characters you could get away with it. I know David used to do Deadpool, and when he got out of shape, he still did Deadpool. He just put slippers and a robe on,
That's what I'm
and
going
it
to
was,
do right there.
and people were like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Well, I'm retired, so and you make a couple movies, you get lazy."
I was like, I told my wife, I was like, maybe I'll just get really, really into working out and just cut all the bread, cut everything out for like going from October 1st to Halloween, so I can get all this weight, get cut, and then do it for 1 month, and then eat all the Halloween candy, and then ruin it the next.
You gotta have goals, and
Yes.
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, I have to ask, did you ever have a favorite Halloween costume as a kid?
Well, I tried dressing up as different characters, and people, they kind of looked at me weird, so I stopped doing that. I remember I got dressed up one time as a Ghostbuster, and kids were like, "Laitram, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Okay, I'll go put my clothes back on." And I tried getting dressed up one time, and it was really cool because I got everything together, and I put on the Doctor Strange costume, and I was really happy. And then they looked at me, and they said that I was like what's the characters, the skulls,
The Scrolls?
yeah, the
Yeah,
scrolls. And I was
yeah.
like, what's that? And they're like, "Oh, it's you." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm Doctor Strange." No, okay.
Yep. You're Doctor Strange or Skrull as Doctor Strange, or turning to Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Well, I appreciate this. I all the information you've given us and is fun. Like I said, you have your convention is an all encompassing. I mean, you've got a lot going on, and it's something that I haven't seen with any other cons. Yeah, I've seen some, do the makeup, and I've seen some do, the costume contests and stuff like this. And I've seen one maybe do a haunted house area, but you're like, I'm doing the haunted house. We're doing the horror movie makeup. We're doing the costume contest. We're doing everything. We're knocking this all out. Um, and that is a lot. And good on you for being able to get that all knocked out. That's insane. That is a busy weekend for you. Uh, yeah. Now,
I can't wait to see what happens in like 4 to 5 years
oh my God. You,
when it starts growing and I can do a lot more things in my head.
oh man. It next thing you know, you're gonna have like you're gonna have Christine. You're gonna have to have the Jeepers Creepers truck. You'll have to have the semi truck from Maximum Overdrive, and then you have a race.
Oh, that would be amazing. See how I could do that.
Oh man, I've seen the Christine car once, and I've seen the semi truck from Maximum Overdrive once, but I've only seen that at a car show. I've never seen it at a horror movie convention. So,
Well, I'm talking to the Maximum Overdrive people right now, so we might see them again soon.
cool. So, like I said, I appreciate all the work you've done. you're putting together what looks like to be an awesome convention. Like I said, I'm planning on being there. Unless something bad happens, I will be there. Um, but I it is a lot of stuff. I mean, you've like I said, your guest list is amazing. Your event list is amazing. Your all the trucks you've got going in. Oh, before I forget, do you have photo ops available, or is that
I'm working on that.
you're
I'm
working on
working
that?
on that. It's
Okay.
it's one of the things that I have a couple people that said that they will do it. Um, and I just have to coordinate with the celebrities and see what they're interested in doing.
Mm,
Because I know that a couple of them have their characters, and maybe I could convince them to bring that with them so that they could actually do photo ops in their
in character.
character.
Now, the other one was I forgot to ask, do you have your autograph pricing up on your website yet?
Um, Autographs usually start off at like $30 and go up. So as soon as the celebrities agents let me know what they want to go to, but I always tell everybody, they're definitely going to start at 30 and possibly go up from there. And I know with the prices of everything going up, I'm not sure what to expect on that, but I know that on the low end it's going to be 30.
Yeah, it's the last few I've went, it started at 30. Actually, probably average was 40. And then it was like if you paid for like the photo op autograph was I think 70 for the two, stuff like
Right.
that.
It's like you could get a selfie
Yeah.
and an autograph picture, and they usually do combos and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that usually I let the celebrities decide what they want to do with that. Some of them are really cool and they're like, yeah, just get a picture, it's fine. Others it's a combo deal. So, that's something that I usually let them decide on. I mean, it depends on what they want to do with the fans.
Yep. Um, that like I said, that's great. I'm really pumped for this show. It is in run off the dates again, location, and all that fun stuff real quick.
Sure. Remember, everybody, Haunted Screams Expo is going to be in Hampton, Virginia, September 17th and 18th of 2022. So hopefully we'll see you at Haunted Screams Expo.
Yeah. Um, hey, can you go get Dave for me? I got some questions for him on some stuff too.
Okay, not a problem.
All right. Well,
Good to talk to you.
I will pause this and we'll say goodnight to you, sir. And we'll talk to Dave here in a few minutes.
All right, everybody. That's
All
all for
right.
now.
All right. Laitram disappeared on us, so he got his helper Dave over here to come over and talk. Um, he's more than just a helper. You are a martial artist, stuntman. You've done a lot of stuff, sir. Well,
Yep. I try to keep busy, so it's a fun life.
yeah.
But
We talked last time I talked to Laitram. You came in at the end after we were done. We talked a little bit. Um, what are your current disciplines, sir?
Currently I hold a seventh degree black belt in Shorin-ryu, which is a master instructor in Shorin-ryu, Okinawan hardstyle. I hold a seventh degree black belt in Kinjutsu, which is Japanese art of sword fighting. I'm a master instructor of Arnis Damano, Filipino stick and knife fighting. And then I also hold a sixth degree black belt in Tong Soo Do, which is a Korean form of the father form of Taekwondo. Um, then I'm an instructor for CSW, which is basically like a combative wrestling style. So that's what I do.
Yeah. We talked. You've done some work in some movies and done some stunts and stuff like that. Now, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to train people to do that, or do you prefer to do it yourself?
Honestly, it just depends on what it is, because when you're on the film set and they ask certain things like, you know, you get that adrenaline rush and you're like, that might be fun to try to do, or it's been a long time since I've done that. So yeah, I'm volunteering. I'll do that, or they're like, okay, so we need this guy to fall through this window and da 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 da. It's like, I've done that a couple times. You know what? We will make the fight happen. I'll choreograph it with these guys, and you can throw him through the window. But 9 times out of 10, it's like if it's a scene where you're standing on a truck and the truck slams on the brakes and the person's on top of it and they go flying off. Unfortunately, I'm the one that has to do that. Or if you got to get lit on fire and you're just walking and falling down, and they'll make me do that one because liability. And they're like, well, you're certified and you're a stunt instructor versus our guy. The hardest part about being in in stunt work is the stuntmen really don't get that much credit. We do a lot of work for films and people love the films, but then people will sit there and go, oh yeah, that actor does really good, and I loved him in this movie and this movie, and I can't believe how he fights well and this and that. And it's like, okay, hold on, the movie was great, character's great, but 9 times out of 10 it's not the actor, it's the stunt double that people are forgetting about.
Yeah.
And people don't really sit down and watch the credits at the end of the movie to go, oh, da 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 da, oh wow, okay, cool, that person was actually stunt, had stunt doubles, instead of going, yeah, this major actor did all his own stunt work. And it's like some of them will do a good amount of stunts as long as it's not that lethal or that hard. Because the hard thing is that people don't realize that when you're doing stunt work and you're in front of somebody, it's like, okay, for instance, I don't know, name an actor, name somebody big.
Brad Pitt.
Okay, so let's talk Brad Pitt, right? So if Brad Pitt's doing something, he goes, wow, I want to ride that motorcycle and I want to make that jump down that mountain and into the water. And they're like, okay, Brad, that's awesome, but if you do that and you break your leg, then the whole movie is done until your leg heals. So we got to stop production, and we can't do that for the time period that it's going to take you to heal. And then we got to coordinate with everybody on getting this area again to do the film work, and that could take up to a year to 2 years to get everything rolling again if the main actor gets hurt. So instead of Brad Pitt doing that, even though he wants to, they'll be like, all right, we'll let you ride the motorcycle to this point and we'll film it, so that people are like, oh wow, he did it, he did a stunt. And then the hard part, they're going to get a stunt double to literally jump it. And if that stunt double gets hurt, they're like, okay, get the next stunt double to come in, so the movie can continue on. And I think that's the hardest part that people really don't understand when it comes to stunt work.
Yeah, because I'm a stunt man. I guess connoisseur. I like,
Okay.
There's certain people that you look at and you're like, okay, this guy's good. If you see this guy, you watching the film, this guy's going to do a good stunt.
Right.
People, The Matrix. What was funny is that, especially the new one that just came out, Keanu Reeves's stunt double is in the movie as a character, as his alternate, what Keanu Reeves looks like when he looks at it in the mirror. That's actually his stunt double from the old Matrix movies, and that's Carrie-Anne Moss's husband, because they met while they made the movie, and that's how they got those two. So yeah, so I seen that guy because I can't remember his name, but I know he's a good stunt man.
Well, it's like it's just like it's really cool when movies will give the stuntman an opportunity to be part of the actual movie as a cameo appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the Ninja Turtles, remember in the 90s, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came out. I actually got Michelangelo right there.
Oh, that's sweet.
So, yeah, but it's really unique because if you pay attention to the movie, the actual people that were in the suits, they actually have a cameo appearance throughout the whole entire movie, and it's really neat to see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it when the stunt people get an opportunity to show a real quick cameo. They're like, oh wow, that was so and so.
Well, you got, like, was it Ernie Reyes Jr. I believe
Yep.
was he Michelangelo?
It was Donatello.
Donatello. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see him, you like, because he was an action guy,
Yeah.
and now he pops up in movies now, and because he was the guy that beat the crap out of the Rock in the Rundown, and
Yep.
because he's only like 5'4" or something like that, and he beat the crap.
Yeah, he's a little guy. He's a
Yeah.
little guy, and Ernie's a really cool guy. Me and him known each other for a while, so yeah. He's
He when you were talking about this, I was like, one of the coolest things I think when it came to stuntmen was geez, I'm trying to remember how many years ago it was now. When they were given an award to Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan's out on stage and he's talking, and they bring out everybody who was ever a stunt monkey for him, and he's sitting there and they're talking, and he does one of these numbers, and then he's like, and he sees all these people that he was worked with and that have been in all of his movies, and you see him start crying,
yeah.
and and they talk with all these stuntmen who've worked with him over the years, and he's like, the one guy's like, this is his watch Jackie Chan gave me. He goes, I still wear it to this day. I've only taken, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. But yeah, and that was another one. You always saw those guys in all the Jackie Chan movies, and and you'd start recognizing them from movie to movie.
Yeah, once you start paying attention, it's really fun to see how many of them are interacting with each other during different movies, and you see the bad guys, and it's like you'll see like certain guys that just are in the background. They come up and they're fighting and they get thrown through something, and then it's like, oh wait, I saw that guy in this movie, and I saw that guy in this movie,
Oh
which
yeah.
is really cool to start recognizing them in that sense. I remember I saw an interview with Jackie Chan, and it was so funny because they were like, hey, Jackie, we want you to be in the next movie, the new martial art kid, the Karate Kid,
Mhm.
and he's like, oh yeah, all right, great. And he goes, so who's gonna be my master? And they're like, well, you were gonna be the master. He goes, oh, I forget how old I am. I thought I was gonna be the kid, and he started laughing about that. So he's got a great sense of humor,
Oh, man. It's funny going back and because every once in a while I'll be flipping through, like, and it'll scream and it'll say, Karate Kid, and it'll have the Jackie Chan, Will Smith's kid. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Jaden Smith. I have him on there, and I'm like, that's more Kung Fu Kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's not really karate, it's Chinese, but that's okay.
Oh man, that's this is bad. I watched the Jackie Chan cartoon again the other day, and I haven't watched it in years. And
Right.
then they got Uncle, who's based on That is based on the Jackie Chan Adventures is based on the Operation Condor character.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so he has Uncle, and Uncle's slightly different, but he goes. They all look at Uncle, and he's like, Uncle doesn't speak Japanese. Uncle is Chinese.
I
And
think
I was like, that's great, because I hate to say this, but that's a lot of American sensibility. I went to school in a small town north of here in Sydney, and we had a lot of foreign exchange students because we were near a Honda plant. So we got a lot of Japanese kids, but we also got kids from like Thailand, Philippines, stuff like that.
right.
And everybody assumed all of them were Japanese. And I'm like, he doesn't even look Japanese. Why? What? And I'm like, and I was like, I was like, you're Filipino, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, because you look Filipino. I mean, I don't want to sound bad, but I was like, you look.
Yeah,
Everybody else is like, he looks Japanese. I'm like, not all Asians look alike, man.
thank you. Like, okay, so it's funny because it's like when I'm working and everything, and I work at different places because I run a security company, and I get these people that come up to me and they start speaking Spanish to me because they're like, well, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't understand Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And they're like, well, you're a disgrace to your people. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm not Spanish. I'm not Mexican. And they're like, what? You're not Mexican? I'm like, nope. They're like, Puerto Rican? No, sorry. I was like, run down at, my dad's side, I'm a mutt. I am completely as an American as you can get. Because on my dad's side, I have Native American, I got English, I got Scottish, and I got German. And then on my mom's side, I have Chinese, Filipino, and then we have Spaniard from Spain,
Hmm.
not from,
Not from Mexico. Yeah.
and they're like, so you're not Mexican? No, sorry.
Oh man. Well,
But it's just it's so funny to see different people's reaction, because I got long hair, and people will be like, oh yeah, the Indian dude over there, or yeah, the Mexican guy, or yeah, the guy that looks like Machete, or when I was younger it was like, yeah, kids used to come up to me at tournaments and stuff. They're like, hey, can I get your autograph? I said, do you even know who I am? And they're like, yeah, you're Ernie Reyes Jr. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not Ernie, but thank you for that. I appreciate that. Ernie is an amazing guy, but that's not me.
he's he was pretty badass back in the day, and I'm not sure what he's done lately, but holy crap, I love like Tubi and stuff like that, because I was watching it one day and it's like, you like this, so you like these martial arts movies.
Right,
I'm
right,
like,
right. Because it
huh?
always draws it out to, you get to watch the different things, and it's like as soon as you watch one, it's like,
Yep.
here's everything that you're going to enjoy just based off of what you've already watched. So
Oh,
yeah, that's great. Yeah.
the one that gets me is the and I can never remember his name, but he's the lead actor in the Raid movies. Um, but he appeared in the Snake Eyes movie as the Hard Master. And me and my son are sitting in the theater. There's only like 10 people in the entire theater. And me and my son are watching it. When he shows up as the Hard Master, we're like, oh, and he's like, and
Well,
we had a friend with us going, why are you so excited? I'm like, he's a badass. Have you ever seen the Raid? Go watch that.
like since you're a big fan of like the old classics and stuff on martial arts, my instructor is Tadashi Yamashita, and one of his big movies that everybody liked was American Ninja. He was the Black Star Ninja.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's my instructor, and he's a funny guy. He loves to do different things, and he got me really started with doing seminars and teaching me how to do that, and luckily through that I've really had an interesting time meeting different martial artists and different people in the industry, and I got hooked up with a gentleman by the name of Michael DePasquale, Soki Michael DePasquale, and he got me into doing stunt work and film. So I was really happy about that one. And I remember going to the Action Magazine's Hall of Fame for the first time many years ago, and I got inducted into that one. And I remember because Michael DePasquale, Soki went ahead and got me nominated for that. And I met Cynthia Rothrock there, and I met Don, the Dragon Wilson, and after years of meeting them and talking to them, we all became really close friends. And it's weird because a person that's been into martial arts his whole life grew up watching martial art films, and it's like seeing these icons from that era that I used to watch actually right in front of me, and starstruck for a little while, but now they're my friends, and it's just very strange to me still on how everything turned out.
Oh, it will. I've met Cynthia Rothrock. I've met Jim Kelly, and
Yeah,
I met T Mac, the guy from the Last Dragon, and over the years. And it was funny because Cynthia Rothrock, this is, you know I guess it's been a while now. It's been almost 20 years now since I met her last time. But I'm sitting there because I grew up and she was always, China O'Brien and stuff like that. And I'm like, I walked up and I don't lie, I thought she'd be taller for some reason. And this, little woman comes up and she's like, oh, it's like, I showed her, I had some of my movies in the bag, and she's like, well, why don't I'll just sign a picture for you real quick. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, where did you get all these? And I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, anytime any like video store was selling a Cynthia Rothrock movie, I jumped on it. I pulled out, bought the damn thing on VHS, and I still got them. They're stored away, but I do have them.
Right.
And I was like, man, I got all this. Same with like the Don the Dragon Wilson stuff, and I was going through some stuff the other day, watching some old ones on VHS tape, and the Blood Fist movies, and all that. And people are like, what movie is this? I'm like, dude, there was a period of time when people like Van Damme were making Bloodsport and all this stuff. So all the other companies started making these lower budget, but bringing in these guys who were big overseas, or they were going in. And I introduced my son relatively recently, Jeff Speakman.
Oh yeah. The Perfect Weapon.
Yeah, and I was like, dude, I love Perfect Weapon when that came out. And he's like, well, who's this? Because Jeff Speakman did what, maybe 5 movies and then faded into obscurity. But I think he actually got sick, so I think that's why he disappeared. But I showed him Perfect Weapon. He's like, this guy never got big. I was like, nope. I was like, he did like one more big movie and then just kind of did, slower and lower movies. And I was like, then I think he got sick and he just disappeared. And he's just like, wow. Then I started digging out the other ones, and I'm like, well, this guy right here was Benny the Jet. He was I was like, he's in a lot of stuff. You see that guy in the weird, I hate to say it, he had a weird face. And I was like, he's in Gross Point Blank and all this stuff. He's a stuntman, but I was like, he did a whole bunch of stuff where he was the bad guy in a lot of martial arts movies.
Like he did. Benny the Jet, he's still up and running. He's still doing seminars. He's a great guy. Who else? Michael J. White, he's still doing pretty good. He's a newer actor, but he's doing really well. Superfoot Wallace, he's doing really good. He's still got a huge following. But yeah, there's a lot of them out there.
The one that threw me was Bolo Young, his son.
Bolo has changed so much. I mean, I'm sure you kept up with it, but he went from like this really big, and now he's
really,
now he's real small, but he still looks amazing, and it's really, he's a really good guy.
And then like I was watching something, and then they had his son on there, and I was like, that's definitely his kid. He looks just like him back in the day when he was, fighting Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah.
Were you one of the kids that got hooked on martial arts because of the Bruce Lee movies, or was there somebody else that got you?
I think just being a hyper child, my uncles looked at my parents and said, you should put him in martial arts. It help channel and focus that energy, or else you might get in trouble. And they were right. I was a very bad, troubled child when I was growing up, and I had to justify what I was doing as the right thing, unfortunately. I remember one time I got into a fight and I had to go to my instructor, and he punished me or disciplined me, because, lack of better terms nowadays.
Yep.
But and I told him, I said, well, I was trying to defend somebody, so that's why I used my martial arts against those people.
And he was like, well, you can't do that in school. And from what I understood, you started it. I said, well, they were talking a lot, and we didn't like that. And so, I was one of those kids that felt that I needed to test out what I learned to make sure it still works and see what works and what doesn't work. Which, for those people that are watching this, don't do that. Martial arts is definitely for discipline and making sure that, you can defend yourself. Don't go looking for trouble. Because I remember, when you're a kid, and even like some of my students, it's like you get the adults that literally go from white belt to yellow belt, and the first thing they want to do is they want to go outside and they want to look around, and they're like, oh yeah, now I'll defend anybody, I'm a yellow belt. It's like, good. Oh, slow down, you're going to get yourself hurt. But I got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid, and martial arts did help focus. So I'm really glad where it took me, because without the discipline and the martial arts, and then as I continued and became a black belt and learned that other people were looking up at me as role model, that I needed to start changing and making sure that I stayed out of trouble and I wasn't doing those bad things, because I didn't want kids to grow up doing those things that I was doing. So, it did help me focus.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know where I would be now if I didn't do the martial arts. So
Yeah. It is unfortunately where I live, almost every time any type of dojo would be around, it wouldn't last any length of time.
yeah,
You know, I got lucky because literally I worked at a comic book store, and there was a storefront, there was a Radio Shack, and then next to the Radio Shack was a dojo, and then not including the fact that I did one because we had we practiced, I hate to say it, at the Y.
that's
Um,
okay. That's okay. You
um,
practice in backyards as long as
yeah,
you're practicing. You
and
know.
the one is that they came over to the store and they gave us a stack of free lessons.
Right.
And so I went over there and I took the free lesson over there, and I'd already done some. I started learning judo and aikido, and this was karate, and I can't remember what style off the top, because I was a kid back then, and I went in there and I took my one free lesson, and the sensei liked me, and he's just like, just come back. I was like, all right. So like the next, 2 days later, I was back there again. Then, next time when my class came back around, the age I was back there again. And he's just like, you show talent, and you take it all seriously. He goes, I can't make you pay.
Right.
And I did pretty good. And then one day I went in and he's like, hey, he goes, I gotta move, they raised the rent and they're wanting to tear this part of the store down because they're gonna build something here. And I was like, oh, okay, so where do we go from now? And he's like, well, I'll get back with you when, it never happened.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
But then I was still doing some aikido and I was still doing judo, and I did that for a while. And like I said, I was one of them kids, I was trying to find myself, as you go through that period of time when you're in high school and you just don't know where you belong or what you need to do. And I found that, and even though I was like going from kind of discipline to discipline, it helped. It helped me get on the straight and narrow for a while and kept me out of trouble.
Yeah.
And I was wanting to do that again, but literally the closest dojo from here is 30 minutes away. It's Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I would literally get off work, have to haul ass down to 30 minutes, be late because there's no way I could ever be on time because I close at 7 and I think they start at 7. But the guy's like, man, he goes, I talked to my sensei. He said, we can work with you to get you in here. And I'm like, man. And my wife's like, I don't see you enough now. She goes,
Right.
yeah. So, but no, I still do some of my, I still practice. I still do my stances. I still go through everything. I still work out. I still work out on the heavy bag and all that fun stuff, but I don't have a teacher telling me what to and not to do. So sometimes I screw up, but
It happens. It's all right, you
yeah.
know, and it's as long as you remember your lessons and you keep focused on that and you keep going. You know, a friend of mine told me one time, and it always stuck in my head, which was guy by the name of Matt Hughes. He said, you know, all you need is one technique and find a million ways to get to that one technique. That's all you really need to remember. Um, and I took that to heart. And you know, so people that literally learn one move, and like yourself, you know, it's hard to practice and it's hard to keep
Mhm.
moving forward. But as long as you're focused enough that you can actually study that one move, and then just think of different ways to get to it, so that you develop your own ways, and then make sure that you stay focused and stay true to that one specific movement, then you'll be all right.
Yeah, it's.
Um,
I mean, I haven't had to use it in a bunch of years, but I was able to, and it just kicked in. It was one of them ones where everybody goes, "Oh, it's muscle memory," and I didn't really believe muscle memory was really that. And then
yeah.
literally, a guy went to throw a punch at me, and it was like, "Boom!" And I caught him, and I got him down, and I got him an arm bar on the ground, and he's screaming on the ground, and all of a sudden, I stand up, and everybody's like, "Where'd you learn that?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like 14, maybe. It's still there.
I just look at people, and I usually, whenever something big happens and I have to put somebody on the ground, they're like, "Oh my God, you know, how'd you learn that?" Da 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 da. I say, "I watch lots of movies." They're like, "What?" I was like, "Seen it on TV."
Yeah, dude, I watch a lot of kung fu movies. That's where I learned it. Then everybody like, really? That works? Yeah, sure, go do it. Go watch a bunch of kung fu movies.
Like, but you know, one of the things that I do tell people is, you know, there's the old phrase that people, in my opinion, still get wrong, which is, if I say practice makes, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Perfect.
Practice makes what? Okay,
Perfect.
perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect is an illusion that doesn't
No, it
exist.
doesn't
We
exist.
all strive for that perfection, but what is perfect? Nobody really knows. So I tell everybody that, you know, practice makes habit. So it's up to us to create good habits in life, whether it's going to be in martial arts or regular life, and focus on that and repeat it until it becomes habit. You know, for instance, like let's say with kids, right? Um, Kids wake up in the morning, and they realize they've hit the snooze button a couple times. They gotta get to school, so they throw their clothes off, they run, they shower, and then they run downstairs. They grab like something fast to get to the bus stop. They get in the bus, and then they go do their work, school, come home. And instead of sitting down and doing your homework, you're sitting there going, "Oh man, I just want to relax." So they're going to watch TV, movie, whatever, and then they're rushing to get their homework done, and it's wrong. And then next thing you know, it's time for bed, and they throw their clothes off and they change and they just go to sleep. And pretty soon the weekend's going to come and all their stuff's all over the place, and mom and dad are going, "Hey, you can go out, but you got to clean your room." And if they create good habits in life, then they get home, they go ahead and do their homework, then they eat their dinner, and then they have a little bit of time to watch some TV and decompress, then take their shower at night, take their clothes, put in the dirty hamper, and put their pajamas on, go to sleep, wake up early in the morning, fix your bed, change out of your pajamas, put new clothes on, go downstairs, eat breakfast. And if they get into that routine, their room's going to stay clean, you know, their homework improves, lifestyle's better for them. And then next thing you know, it's like by the time Saturday comes around, "Hey mom, dad, I want to go play with my friends." It's like, "Is your room clean?" "Yes, room's clean, homework's done, good grades." And they're like, "Okay, well, can't complain about anything. See you later." You know, and that's something that I try to instill, you know, not just with my students, but people that I get to know, is that create good habits in life, because the more good habits you'll have, the better off and more successful you'll be as a human.
Yeah, definitely. What's you were talking about, practice makes, you know, it's funny because this is the one of the few things I remember, because literally my sensei came in. So this guy, I mean, I don't want to be stereotypical, but he looked like he walked off the set of a Shaw Brothers movie. You know, he was literally like 5 foot nothing, bald, big bushy beard, little Chinese guy. And we're sitting there, and he was looked at me. He was telling all of us. He goes, never stop learning. He goes, he goes, and I can't remember how old he said he was. He goes, people go, well, I'm a master. He goes, you're not the master of anything. He goes, you will never stop being, a learner. He goes, because you will learn until the day you die. And I was like, that is a, I was like, that, because it's true. I mean, I'm an adult, and there's not one day that doesn't go by that I don't learn something. And and he just did that. He said, he says, you're never a master, you're always a learner. He goes, and if somebody tells you they're a master, basically they're full of shit.
Well, and the thing is, it's like, everybody asked me about becoming a black belt or becoming a master instructor, and it's all just titles and ranks and how long you've been studying. But it's weird because, like, let's say that you and I did a class together, and we grew up. We went from white belt all the way through black belt. And the best way that I can describe it, there's 2 different ways depending on who I'm talking to. Let's say that we're talking to people that are really hands-on people. So I would say, okay, what we're going to do is every belt level, you are literally learning a different tool. And then by the time you get up to black belt, now I'm going to give you a bunch of wood, and your job is to create something out of that wood. Just because you and I have learned the exact same stuff, our skills are going to change it depending on how we are and how we interact with things. I might end up making a doghouse. You might make a rocking chair. We have the same skill set, but it's how we're going to take it on from there. If it's somebody that is more on the book savvy type of people, or somebody that likes to read or write, I usually tell them, it's like learning your ABCs. Like, how often do you use your ABCs? And majority of the people will look at me and go, oh, I don't really even use them anymore. I'm like, wrong. Every time you talk, you're using your ABCs. So when we're white belt, we're literally learning ABCs. When you're the next level, you start learning to form words. The next level, you do sentences, and then paragraphs, and then you're learning, essays. And then by the time you get to be a full-blown black belt, now your job is to take everything that you learn and write your own novel. So what are you going to write? Just because we have the same vocabulary doesn't mean that we're going to write the same thing. You might go ahead and write off, a horror. Well, I might write a comedy or a romance, so it just depends on who you're talking to and how they can uphold the knowledge of the martial arts and apply it to their lifestyle.
It's funny because you talk about the each level you learn a tool. Sure. I can't remember who told me this, but that literally it was almost the same thing. They go, each level, every time you get a belt, it's a new tool in your toolbox. Right. That by the time you become a black belt, then you have a full toolbox full of tools that you can build what you need to build. Whether it's, and I was like, and I don't know if where I heard it, it's been a long time ago, but it was one of the ones, and I thought that was great. But I am going to get ready to probably tie this up here soon, sir. Sure. But I do have to ask you one more martial arts. Well, two questions here.
Go for it.
Go-to martial arts movie.
My go-to martial arts movie?
Yes.
Wow, that's there's so many. I mean, wow, that's a tough one. I'm a real big fan of Jackie Chan, and the reason why is because out of a lot of the movies, I think that it's really cool to see a martial artist that will take punches and get hit and show more realistic side versus somebody that's just there and go tuk, 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 bam. And it's like realistically you're going to get hit. So I really enjoy watching a lot of the Jackie Chan movies. I was, growing up, that's one of my biggest guys to keep watching. I do enjoy Kurosawa films.
Yes.
So yeah, like the Seven Samurai, those styles. I really enjoy those. So yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, Master of Flying Guillotine. I could watch that movie over and over and over again. And people like, yeah, I love Enter the Dragon. Yeah, I love Jackie Chan movies, stuff like that. But for some reason, Master of the Flying Guillotine, I could somebody turn that on. I'll just be like walking through the room and like, yeah, I'm gonna sit down and watch this again, and I will watch it every time.
That's like the Five Deadly Venoms.
Oh yeah, that's definitely maybe like second or third. I can watch. Oh my god, I love those movies.
Yeah, it's just like they specialize in this and this and this, and you're just watching them. You're like, wow, that's really cool. Yeah.
Okay. Second question: what's your favorite movie that you've been in?
Oh man, I don't know. Because it to me, it's not about the movie. It's more about the experience. And just getting to meet lots of people and interact with them in the film industry. There's so many memories and so many different people. Indie films, I like them because they seem to be more passionate about making films, and they really want to push hard. Bigger films, I feel a lot of pressure because when they ask you to do something, if you mess up, then you're fired and you're right out the door. So it's really tough to answer that one. It just because you get to meet a lot of really cool people, and what do you base it on? Because like there's ones that you do fight scenes for, and then there's ones that you do actual stunts for, and then there's just ones that you help with like blowing stuff up and just seeing the chaos, and you're like, yay, I was part of that. That's cool. So.
Cool. I'm not gonna lie, I'd probably be like the one I blow stuff up in. I'm really the one that blows. Something about blowing something up makes
You're like,
oh. All right. Well, I hate to rush out of here, but it is getting late here on my end, probably getting late in your end. I appreciate you coming on here, and we'll talk again soon. And tell Laitram that I will get back with him because like I said, as everything's going, I will be at the convention. We will be able to talk. So
yeah, looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to it.
So, all right.
We'll
Well,
you have to get together.
yeah, definitely go hang out and do something over there. All right. Well, you have a good night, sir, and I will talk to you again soon. And take care, and be careful on the movies, and keep kicking ass and all that fun stuff. And like I said, I don't know how you find the time to have that many black belt, that many degree black belts.
But it's a lifetime commitment. You just keep on trying to find new things that keep you interested and keep going. So
before I go, how many times a day do you practice?
Currently, I still practice once a day, but it's like just running through. Like one day I'll do my forms, and then other days I'll do some of my joint locks with people, and then other days that I'll come back and I'll just do some of my weapon training just to relax myself. But it's usually really late at night or early in the morning because I got a busy schedule. But I really want to get to where I can get going and on a set schedule and put it like halfway through my day, early nights, and have some friends come over and really have some fun.
Cool. So. All right. Well, take care, sir, and I will talk to you again. But that was awesome.
All right. Thank you. Take care.